Why is commercial real estate not being talked about more? I'm in and out of lot of buildings in a major US city. It's unreal the amount of empty offices that are just sitting. Entire buildings of empty offices. Plenty have been available for lease for over 2 years. No one wants them. Feels like a huge crash coming. But nothing has happened. Eventually these companies are going to have to dump these spaces, which will trigger more than just a real estate crash. Not sure if anyone has more insight, but I feel like if there's a major recession, commercial real estate is going to be the cause. Or they get bailed out. CRE is a pretty common discussion. Have you looked at CRE REITs? Valuations of these REITs have plummeted in the last 3 years. I think it's pretty important to add office between the words commercial and real. Plenty of commercial real estate is just fine. I imagine local governments will have subsidies bailouts for converting empty offices into residential. Chicago has already started doing this for its downtown office buildings. Do you live under a rock? Acting like you discovered office vacancies in November of 2023 is wild tears of joy. Commercial leases are usually 3-5 years, but can be as long as 10 years. We have only seen the beginning of the commercial real estate collapse. I used to live at the heart of Los Angeles, in Koreatown. I visited my family recently and had a chance to drive around. Let me tell you, where I remember giant shopping centers, complexes and markets used to reside are now replaced with a bunch of new high-rise condos and apartments. Anecdotal of course, but I was blown away. More? It's been talked about at length. Even if RTO leads to 80 of people going back in, that's still 20 less space needed. CRE has also already been pummeled, but presumably most owners refinanced to super low rates. Not sure what you're talking about. It was a big hot topic when reports came out a few months ago revealing that the majority of CRE debt is readjusting over the next couple of years. Biden administration just opened up $40 billion for developers to repurpose empty offices into housing. Certain cities are starting initiatives to redesign chunks of the city with empty buildings. It may not be major headline news today, but it's definitely being talked about a good amount. There's really nothing going on with it at the moment. Deals for the most part aren't being done. Lenders are doing everything they can to avoid foreclosure for now by doing some term modifications and setting up interest reserves. And the people who own the properties are basically just praying rates come down some next year. Industrial is supposedly doing well though. I've literally lost count of the number of articles I've seen read about this in the past few months. Most of these CRE are forced to keep their asking rent at a fixed rate due to restrictive covenants in their mortgages. If they cut rent, it starts a refinance cascade to the current rates, which, as we all know, are far higher. They try to rent with thrown in internal modifications etc. as a form of give back a de facto rent reduction. A huge crash looms as there is also a huge effect on city taxes. This kind of decline happened in the 60s, most notably in Newark, NY edit NJ. I'm a runner and I run around my city and it seems like a ghost town. I don't see people in stores and buying things. All I see is empty commercial real estate or businesses that are open but with no cars in the parking lot. Feels like a zombie movie, and I look at the stock market and statistics and it all seems artificially high. US GDP grew at 4.9 last quarter. Higher than expected. Same with warehouses in my area, Central FL. They have been building them everywhere for a few years, however. I've noticed most of them barely have 50 occupancy. And there are several more being built and ground being leveled for more that in the same general vicinity. It's puzzling. The owners in NYC are going nuts. I can tell you that much. Midtown NYC may convert commercial space to residential. It's that bad. It is not unheard of for an owner of a major building to simply walk away from a building even in Midtown NYC. As other users have said, this is just the commercial office space market, which is something various CRE developers have told me to avoid from the days I met them, in some cases going back more than 30 years. Plenty of other CRE markets are absolutely cooking. Government announced 45B package to help owners convert office buildings into residential buildings. Quick Google should give you some articles on it from good sources. Not sure how developers would get around zoning requirements, but I'm sure most jurisdictions are looking at ways to speed up the permit process to convert. Depends on the property. Class A will be fine. The companies that are massive with presence in major cities will always need to fill seats. They want the best and pay for it. Class B/C not so much. We will see a ton of reclassifications from commercial to residential in the next 15 years. Not all commercial real estate is created equal. Office real estate will continue to suffer while health sciences, logistics facilities, infrastructure will continue to do fine. Pretty sure the government just passed a bill giving out a bunch of money to convert offices into apartments. They don't want to see it crash. This is being talked about a lot. Lots of owners are looking at maturing loans over the next year. And the expectation is that there will be a major influx of distressed properties. CRE investment firms have been fundraising the past year and are ready to strike when this happens. The industry has been ready for this. As I understand it, they've been cooking the books with some creative accounting. They've been recording the rents due that aren't being paid as accounts receivable. It's recorded as an asset. They've got enough cash to stay solvent and not sell. When that changes, well, it's likely going to be bad. But the government will bail them out. So don't expect Armageddon. Even though the investment class pretends to like money and want to make money, in actuality, no matter how many hundreds of billions of dollars they lose, it simply doesn't affect them because they apparently have a limitless supply of billions of dollars sitting around somewhere. I work for one of the largest PE commercial real estate investors in the world. You're approximately 3.5 years late to the conversation. CRE is more than office buildings. In fact, a significant majority of CRE isn't office buildings, but rather a combination of multifamily housing, strip mall-type buildings, and suburban business real estate. The mortgage-backed security index just hit 10-year low a few weeks back. It's priced in. Here is what happens that all the loud doomers don't want to admit. Commercial office real estate gets turned into commercial housing. Cities get more densely populated as housing expenses decrease, excess money flows to small businesses and shops. Cities explode and are prosperous while rural areas get left behind. Everything becomes more efficient and we all get a little richer. Yeah, this is going to be super interesting to watch play out. I don't foresee offices ever being used like they were pre-pandemic. Work from home is here to stay. We can't convert every building into residential. So either these buildings will stay vacant and cause a massive crash. We'll find other creative uses for the space. Or they'll be torn down to turn into apartment buildings. People still want to live in cities. But yeah, I have no idea what will happen. Cities like SF, it's really bad and they're working hard to figure it out. This sounds like a great way to make or lose a lot of money. Lol, nobody here can predict the future in such a currently volatile market. They all should be converted into living spaces, and let people WFH indefinitely. They will 100% get bailed out.